Hey guys, I'm Mike, and this is the Board Game Rundown, and we are live from my basement because we cover games from top to bottom. I find myself often wondering when Tim is going to get tired of that catchphrase. I completely stole it from him, totally admitted. Hey Jeff, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining me tonight. Another episode of Whiskey Wednesday. That is right. So, right off the top, I'll just apologize in advance. So, one, I'm flying solo. So, it's just me. There's nobody over there, and there's nobody over there, and there's nobody down there, and there's nobody down there. It's just Mike tonight. So, it is the Mike Show. I was hoping that Tim would be able to join. Hopefully, he does not have what I had last week. What's up, Tim? Or Dan. I think Dan uses his personal account. But heck, yeah. So Tim was going to join, and he said he wasn't feeling that well. Sent me a picture of a whole bunch of medicine that he supposedly bought. It was probably just a picture somebody else sent him. Probably his wife Kelly sent it to him, just like, hey, Mallory was sick. This is the stuff I got for her. Use that picture to get out of streaming with Mike tonight. I'm totally kidding. What's up, man? Thanks for joining again. And thanks again to you as well, Jason. I do have the mic all to myself tonight. And yep, Tim, that's yours. But as you know, I like to take things and run with them. So we're going to keep doing that. So yeah, Tim hopefully only has a cold. Last week, I streamed with Tim and Andrew, and that stream went for about 2 hours, 45 minutes. And I was actually rewatching it earlier today because it was a little bit slow at work. Always kind of is around the holidays for us, at least. And see, I would have called it the Mike Show. Had I known ahead of time, I would have just done that. I would have made the thumbnail just me. Wouldn't have even needed Tim and Andrew in the thumbnail, but I included them. It's funny because usually I'll say, hey, it's just going to be me and Tim tonight. And then we'll surprise Dan's in. Surprise Bob's in. Surprise Andrew's in. Or, hey, guys, it's just Mike. Surprise Andrew's. Tonight I'm like, hey, guys, it's Mike and Tim, possibly Andrew. Surprise, it's just Mike. So we're working backwards now is what's happening. So, again, I hope Tim is not inflicted with what I had last week. So we did a 2 hour, 45-minute live stream last week. Tons of fun. Me, Tim, Andrew. Lots of goofy banner and fun screenshots that I used as the thumbnail for this in our Facebook group. But I got the flu. I don't remember the last almost half hour of that stream. Like me with the hood on. I guess I remember doing that, but then I don't know. It was rough. So I called in work Thursday and Friday. I had the flu. I had a fever, and I got up to 101 degrees. I was hot and I was cold, and then I was hot and I was cold, and my body was aching the whole time. Just the worst, man. So I've got a cough drop in. I still got a little bit of a scratchy throat. I have been coughing a lot. So that's one of the things I want to apologize for. Yes, more than normal, because I think I sniff and cough in every video, even if I'm not sick. But yeah, when I'm sick, that might be a little bit more frequent. If that becomes too frequent, I'm unfortunately probably going to cut the streams short. But I'll try to mute the mic when I can. Since I'm flying solo, it's a lot harder to mute the mic because then you just got dead air. I can't do it when Tim's talking. So order of business number one. I'm sorry if I'm relatively short and if I sound like junk all night. It's going around, and it was not fun when I dealt with it, and I'm still got parts of it. Sorry about that, Dan. I I watched some of it, not all of it. It's funny because I knew that video was going to drop today, and then I was like, "Dang, do I want to?" People want to watch that video. Are they really going to tune in for the Mike show? I mean, come on, we got a top 10 to watch, top 10 all time, even. I'll probably talk some about that. In fact, I will definitely talk some about that. So let's go ahead and get it. Well, here we go. I warned you. So another order of business. We have officially given away a free copy of Frosthaven. The following and the support on that video was massive. We had we're over 1,000 views on that video. We had almost 300 comments, so 300 entries. And as you know, all you had to do was comment on that video to win. And I guess the guy that won he was a newer subscriber. His buddy has been a subscriber for a while. And his buddy got everybody else in his game group to enter. And sure enough, one of the guys in his game group won Frosthaven. So that's pretty awesome. I don't want to give him any credit. I don't know. But yeah, we'll give Bob some credit. He's the one that said, get your game group in on the giveaway, guys. And sure enough, that's how that guy won. So I guess cheers to Bob, but also cheers to Millman for subscribing, for entering, and for winning Frosthaven. That is such a huge giveaway. I just wanted to plug that giveaway again. I can't be happy enough that Mark, our producer, who owns Fantasy Games in South Bend, Indiana, where we film our show 90% of the time, is gave away Frosthaven. And yeah, we got a lot of subs since then. We got tons of views on that video, so the support was awesome. And congrats to Millman for winning Frosthaven. That is phenomenal. I don't know of any other channel that's giving away a $280 board game, especially the hottest one out right now. So there you go. Awesome giveaway. Congrats to you, sir. What else? So last I checked, it's the day after Tuesday, which is the day before Thursday, which means it's yeah, that's right. It's Whiskey Wednesday. It's so weird doing this today. I don't have the headphones on. I do have my mic hooked up. I got a couple things happening today. So with no headphones, I thought I'd still get the audio of our videos that play. So like the Jingle Bells trap that I love. Like I'm setting the tone. I'm getting in the mood for the stream. I couldn't hear that. And then it switches to that like super jazzy Christmas song with the board game rundown tag that goes across the screen. And I always get jazzed up for that, but I couldn't hear any of it. And then I just played the little Whiskey Wednesday kind of stinger there, and I couldn't hear that either. So, but it is Whiskey Wednesday, and I do have whiskey with me. A couple caveats though. One, I didn't put it within reach, so hold on. Yeah. See, I've got a mountain of games, and I decided to put the whiskey behind the mountain of games for whatever reason. Ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's correct. That's right. Great song. Yeah, good song. And that's right, it is Whiskey Wednesday. So this is one I've drank this on the stream before. What I'd like to do is drink more of the Dragon's Milk Origin, which again, we're in South Bend, Indiana, right along the Michigan border. You go an hour and a half, almost 2 hours north of here, you run into a little town called Holland, Michigan. It's right on Lake Michigan. Beautiful lake town. They definitely I'm assuming there was history there, but lots of Dutch history in that town for obvious reasons. Well, they're home to New Holland Brewing Company, which is probably my favorite. And Southern Indiana, Northern Indiana, Northwestern Indiana is home to a lot of fantastic beer brewing companies. Well, this particular beer brewing company decided to make Dragon's Milk Origin. This is a $50 bottle fifth of whiskey. It's the best whiskey I've ever had. But I've got a bad track record with this stuff, okay? Me and Origin's got problems. The first time I drank this stuff, I drank so much of it, I was hungover the day after the stream. I am not going to lie. I had a terrible headache. I was joking with coworkers. Yeah, I was streaming. We did our first Whiskey Wednesday, and I'm hungover. Like, okay, we can't get hungover on Thursday. I am too old for that. So, and then last week, I told you, I got sick. I got the flu, and I started feeling it towards the end of that stream. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I have the flu. I was like, I'm starting to not feel that great. And I forgot parts of the end of the stream. And so I was drinking that Dragon's Milk. It's amazing. But I'm afraid to touch the stuff. One time I got drunk. The other time I got the flu. So I am back to Jack Daniel's Rye. I don't know if I like it as much as original Jack Daniel's. It is good. I think there are some rye whiskeys that are better than the originals. One of those, for example, is Crown Royal. I prefer Crown Royal's flavored whiskeys, particularly apple. Ooh, good question. But Crown Royal Rye is better than original. Jack Daniel's Rye, not quite as good as Jack Daniel's Original. Now, before I answer your question, K. Smith, I'll tag it here in a second, but I just want to point out I got to take my first sip of whiskey. I'm using a regular whiskey glass, and since I've still kind of been under the weather, this will be the only one. I'm done. Okay. Also, I still got a cough drop in, and I'm not going to take it out. Yeah, Rob, I agree. Regular Crown is fine. I don't think it's terrible. It's fine, but I think Crown Rye is better than original. So let me take a sip of this. Okay, I didn't have any pre-production sips. It was just that first one you just saw. I tagged the wrong comment. Oh yes, of course. I have back that way. I have lots of those in storage. That's another one I like a lot. In fact, I'm a big fan of trying flavored whiskeys. Hey, some people like the regular taste of whiskey. I do too, but I just like trying flavors on top of that whiskey flavor. So I'm a big fan of trying those. Okay, so great question. Rival restaurants. Rival restaurants, I have now played only twice. And I really like trading games a lot. In fact, Chinatown was my number. Well, I did mention our top 50 is officially out in the universe now. Our top 1 through 10 dropped today. And that's what I was joking about earlier. Nobody's going to watch the stream because our top 10's out now. But I have Chinatown, I think, at number 24. I love trading games. I thought after the first time I played Rival Restaurants, it had replaced Chinatown, and it doesn't. It doesn't. And the reason is because there are times like Chinatown, I always feel like I can do something. You know, I can place buildings out anytime I want. I don't necessarily have to have pairs or sets. It's way better to have sets, but I don't need them. And Rival Restaurants, you know, you're trading for these ingredients to fulfill recipe cards, and those recipe cards are the only way to score points. What I originally liked was that because they are points and not just a dollar figure, you can't totally, like, you can see how many points somebody's getting, but you can't totally math it out. Like Chinatown, you can completely math out exactly how much somebody is getting every single turn. Well, in rival restaurants, you're just giving them one recipe or one ingredient for a recipe, but that entire recipe is worth, say, 4 points, maybe an additional 5 if it matches your home type of restaurant, for example. But I got stuck with cards that didn't work for my recipes. I got stuck where I didn't have anything I needed. I kept buying blind from the deck, and I couldn't find trades. Now, it was only a 3-player game, and trading games can be a little tough at 3. Long story short, I still like Rival Restaurants. I want to play it more. It's not in my top 50, though. Chinatown is drastically better still to me. But more plays, Rival Restaurants could move up. It's borderline top 50, but it's not in there. Yeah, so I still haven't played that copy. I feel terrible saying that because it's the OG. Actually, one of our viewers sent this game to me. I'm super grateful for that. This is a game I've wanted to play for a long time, and I just I don't know. I just didn't track it down. The theme always kind of scared me a little bit, you know. So, and I went between groups for a little while before I met the Rundown guys. So I didn't ever track down Rococo, either version. And then a viewer sent it, and now like I've read a bit of the book. I've watched some more videos. Hopefully, I can get it played soon. It looks really awesome. I mean, yeah, I don't, maybe that's what my game of Rival Restaurants was, says the guy that's never played it. So I am not one very often that will say, hey, card draw screwed me. Dice rolls screwed me. I've said it, but I don't say it very often. And I couldn't draw ingredients that I wanted. I was buying them blind from the deck. I was loading up on money and just buying blind, and just none of them would come out. None of the other players were getting them either. So it's not like they had them and I couldn't get them to trade me. They just weren't coming out. So I'm just sitting there not scoring points or completing ingredients, and it felt pretty flat that game. So I thought, hey, one home run game with 4, one flat game at 3. I better pull down where I put this game. So I intentionally left it out of my 50 because of that. So, yeah, I mean, we had a topic for tonight. Rob was the one that suggested tonight's topic in our Discord. If you are not in our Discord, I highly suggest jumping in there. We have a lot of people, not just us, but a lot of people that are really chatty and enthusiastic about this hobby that we love. It's a welcoming chat. If you want to hop in there and just chat about games, it's going down in our Discord. Even if you don't want to chat and you want to be a wall shadow, you can do that too. That's fine. But definitely, if you like hearing more about board games, check out our Discord. Oh my goodness. Hello, Andrew. Thanks for joining us again. Container made my top 50, even though it's out of print. I don't have a copy, and I am trying not to justify that price. As far as auction games, I love auction games. I want to find more of them that I can rank higher, because I think a lot of auction games, now I've never played Power Grid, so caveat there. This is the best auction game I've ever played. I think it's great. I almost paid $150 for a copy one time, and I didn't. I think it's really, really good. I do. I really like that game. If I owned it, or if I could play it more often, I'd rank it higher. I want to say I had it like at 41 or 42, somewhere in there. So I think very highly of the game, but I've played it twice, and it's been 3 years, but it's good. It's good. What's up, Rob? Yeah, I like auction games so much that I still want and need to play Power Grid. Sorry. I mean, I really enjoy Raccoon Tycoon. That is such a basic economic game, but that auction really shines in that game. I really like Raccoon Tycoon. Another auction game I like is For Sale. For Sale is a really quick 15-minute game that's solid. Everybody, you got property cards that go from 1 to 30. Flip over one for every player. I believe it plays 3 to 6. 3-player game. Flip 3 property cards over, and then you're going to bid on them. The highest ones should sell for the most money. Well, after all of those first 30 cards are gone, you're going to have a hand of property cards between 1 and 30. Then you're going to flip over money cards that go from 0 to 15,000. You're going to blind choose one of your property cards. Everybody flips at the same time. Whoever has the highest one takes the highest dollar card. It's so simple, but it's really genius. You can play this with anybody. For Sale is awesome. I agree. It's cheap too. It's borderline top 50. I debated it. It's right on the cusp. It is right on the cusp. It's tough because, now I play with a group that wants to play a lot of hotness. They want to play games that are newer, that are a little more heavy. Not always, but it's tough to get that played with my group, with the rundown guys. But my buddies, my other buddies that like more casual games love this game. Like oh my gosh. So yeah, it's same. So mine is sitting over there as well. And I bought it at Gen Con and got Glenn Drover to sign that box. So I want to play that as well. Let me tell you about Basket Boss. I love auctions and I like unique themes. I'm also obviously a huge sports fan. Me and Tim are big time. I really want to try this game. I mean, you're using, yes, Tim, friend of the show, Glenn Drover, sorry, who's a sir and has been knighted. That's not official, but it's official. Yeah, I really want to try Basket Boss, an auction where you're bidding for players, and each year their stats are, they may be a player that starts slow and gradually gets better each year of their career, or maybe they start strong and get worse as their career goes on. So you're kind of planning ahead as to what players can, give you max production during each year that you have them. That game looks really cool. Yeah, awesome. We're into auction games. I freaking love auction games. I just QE is ridiculous. QE is ridiculous. It's not for everybody. But this concept to me is so genius. Got an auctioneer. He's going to randomly grab a tile. It'll be one of 5 countries or one of 5 industries. The auctioneer writes a number down. It can be any number. It can be 1 or it can be 6 billion. Okay? Auctioneer flips that number over. Let's say it's 6 billion. Then all the other players secretly write a bid for this tile. Well, if they don't beat the auctioneer, they're not going to get the tile, but whoever bids the most gets the tile. And all the tiles have totally different ways of scoring based off what color they are, what country they are. You're trying to work on sets or get like a variety or one of multiple. And that concept is interesting because you don't know what other people are bidding. But on top of that, whoever bids the most bankrupts their country. You can't win. So the whole theme is QE, quantitative easing. You are printing money to make your country be the most profitable or the most prosperous, so to speak. But if you spend the most money, you bankrupted your country. So yeah, it's sure it would be easy to just bid the most every round, but if you do, you're going to lose. So you can't do that. Often it is the person that bids the second most that wins, and that's what makes that game really fascinating. I need to play that again. It's been a while, man. And yes, Rob, I got that expansion too. Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit, and man, it looks really cool. So yeah, auction games. Wow, I'm so glad that this devolved into that. I want to play more of the Reiner Knizia bidding games. I own but have not played Amun-Re, and I have not played Modern Art. And Modern Art looks so cool. Yes, I have played Ra, but it's been, man, it was still in print the last time I played it, if that tells you anything. So one play at Origins, during a weekend when I played probably 20 different games, it's hard for me to rank something like that. So I remember it being good, but it's tough. High Society, no, that's one I just need to buy because I know that's a cheap game you can pick up. And I've heard great things about. I have played Medici. Medici was solid. That was another one I want to say I played a while ago that I thought was good. But yeah, bidding games. Yeah, I'll try all of those. I want to play more of them. In fact, I'll get into our topic. It was actually Rob, who's in the comments here. He was the one that came up with this week's topic for Whiskey Wednesday. And I like it because, well, one, I'm flying solo. And no offense to him, I don't think this is the best topic. Like, that's why I didn't put it in the thumbnail. I don't think it's a topic that people are like, oh my gosh, she's going to talk about those games? I'm covering the best games that start with the letters in whiskey. So I'm going to have a WHISKE and actually not a Y because I haven't played any. So yes, that does mean I have not played Yamatai or Yomokai or Yido. I have not played any of those. So, or Yggdrasil. So those are the most popular Y games I could think of. But that was tonight's topic. I did have a topic in mind. I have a pile of those games over here. I'm happy to just kind of keep Chet Yokohama. There we go. I had that written down somewhere, and it just, again, cold meds and sick for 4 days, and I feel like my brain's a little foggy today, so apologies. Yeah, Yokohama. Yahtzee would be officially the only Y game I've ever played. Oh, I can go get a 5D6s over there and talk about that for a bit. I did mention that one, but nope, I never played it. I've played Edo, but I have not played Yido, which I do know is a worker placement game. that some people for a while there thought would replace Lords of Waterdeep, but then it looks like it takes a really long time to play, so it kind of fell off my radar, and it's an older game now. So, yeah, so that was the topic. It was games that start with those letters. It's a totally arbitrary topic, and that's kind of why I stuck with it for tonight, because I had a feeling I'd be going solo. I don't have to get into those games. I'm kind of reading the crowd at the moment, and I'm not ripping on your category, Rob. I'm sorry. But yeah, let's now see, I've never even heard of that one. I like unique themes. That's why I like QE. I mean, I love Euro games. I do. I love Euro games. Give me, Euro strategy over most things. But I'm tired of a lot of the themes that these Euro strategy designers keep using. They're just covering trading in 16th century Europe. That's how many games do we need of that? Now, theme doesn't always sell me on a game. In fact, most of the time it doesn't. But a unique theme actually does. That's why Smartphone Inc. That's a top 10 game for me. That game went on my radar strictly because of the theme. I'm like, oh, this is an economic game that looks pretty elegant and talks about selling smartphones in a global market. Now, that's something that intrigues the hell out of me. That is a unique theme. I'm fascinated by these designers that want to try out these unique themes. Because, yeah, I'm very tired of trading stuff in the Mediterranean. I'm just going to kind of play with some of these here. I'm just kind of browsing comments. Yeah, that's another one that I have not. I have not played that one either. Yeah, and I thought so too. That's why I stuck with it for tonight. I got a list prepared over here, and man, this is the first time I've been able to wear a T-shirt in my basement for at least a week. I've been having, on top of having the flu, I've been having furnace issues. I've had 2 techs out 5 different times, and they've put now 3 different parts on my furnace. I believe the last guy finally figured it out, but man, is it frustrating when you can't keep your house above 60 degrees, especially when you're sick. Oh, yes, sir. Good job. It's medium light. Like it's honestly a breeze to learn and play, but there are levels to the strategy in that game. Like I said, top 10. I have it ranked at number 10 perfectly. I am familiar with Bot Factory. I thought it was a more palatable Kanban, is it not? Or a rethemed, more palatable Kanban, which I've played Kanban. But that's yeah, that's what I thought. But I didn't really look into that one because I played Kanban and I thought it was pretty good. But I'm kind of at this. So I went a while between game groups. And, when I did that, I was teaching a lot of my friends who are just very casual gamers. So I would pick up games that I could get to the table. That wasn't heavy games, unfortunately. So that's why you'll find there's a lot of games in my top 50 that are medium or less. I don't have a lot of heavy games in my top 50. It's not that I don't enjoy them. It's just that because of how I went between groups and didn't have gamers that would play super heavy games, I didn't buy them. That was a waste of money. I don't like to buy games and they sit on the shelf. If games sit on the shelf and they're still in print, I'll sell them. I'll go buy them later when I can get them played, you know? So yeah, heavy games are much easier to get to the table now, but Bob has all the ones I want. I mean, he's got like almost every Lacerda game. So he's got all the heavy games. So if I want to play, I mean, honestly, he's got so many that I want to play that, you know, off the top of my head, I can't even think of a heavy game that I'd have to buy that he doesn't that I want to play. So it's kind of, my purchasing has become more selective. I still want to buy games I can get on the table. I still want to buy games that we can review too. Most of the time, the ones that we're reviewing, though, are like new Kickstarters. Again, Bob's collection. And so, you know, I find myself buying medium or less because I can play them. And that feels like a better investment to me. So even though, I don't know, board gaming, not necessarily an investment, I look at it that way. I mean, I've got, you know, almost 200 games, more than that with expansions. So, you know, I've got, I don't know, maybe close to 5 figures in this hobby now. You know, if you're over 200 or 300 games, yeah, you've probably got over $10,000 into this hobby. You just have to look at it that way. Yeah, I like to buy games I can get to the table quickly. It doesn't have a lot of turnaround or barrier to entry, even though I like those games. So, yeah. So, wow, it's probably my charger. So I got a couple things going on here. One, I bought a splitter, a USB-C splitter. So I'm still tweaking with my capabilities. Yes, I'm recording with a phone. Yes, I'm still tagging all your comments with a phone. Yes, it still limits me because eventually what we'll end up doing is I'll be filming with one device and I'll be able to browse on the web with another, and we'll be able to show that on the stream. Much like last week when we were showing we were showing Andrew playing Marvel Snap on the stream. That was cool. So I want to do more of that stuff. Currently can't. So I bought this USB-C splitter because all of these companies got rid of the headphone jack, which I think is stupid. I'd like to be able to charge my phone and use headphones. Most people I know would, but these companies are like, no, that's an extra hole, so that costs us money. Let's get rid of it. Oh, okay. Well, that means if I want to use a microphone, I can't charge my phone. So I bought a splitter. So now I'm trying charging and using a mic. That is currently happening. Problem is, I'm really far away from the outlet. So I'm using my cheapest cable, and it's not keeping up. I started this stream with like 55%. I'm down to 45. So yeah, that means it would actually be going down faster had I not been using it. I'm a Bluetooth mic. Bluetooth mic quality can waver. So I haven't dabbled on that. I've already tried. I'm returning 3 different mics. So this has been a process. Trust me. I'm continuing to try things. Eventually, I'm just getting a PC. My problems are solved. So we'll be fine. But I'm not buying a PC right now. Not around Christmas. Unless I find a screaming deal on one. Then things will change. So, yeah. So games that start with the letters whiskey. Well, now that it's public knowledge, my number 6 game of all time came out this year. There's no surprise that I want to talk about Wonderland's War. Man, I love this game. And I love the theme. This is another game where the theme drew me in. And then I started looking into the mechanics and how they work. And I'm like, I'm buying this. I'm buying a retail copy. And the only reason I didn't back it, like I wanted to back Wonderland's War. I really wanted to back Wonderland's War, but I can go on a different tangent. Maybe I will really quick, but I don't have a lot of Kickstarters coming in right now. Hardly any, in fact. And that's because in 2020, I bought a house. I spent 6 months looking for a house, then bought a house. And then I spent the end of 2020 and almost all of 2021 updating that house. So I wasn't spending money on Kickstarter at the time. Well, now's when those games are fulfilling. The only big one right now that I'm actually waiting on is Darwin's Journey, which I can't wait for that one. Yeah, Darwin's Journey. That's the next big one for me. But yeah, I know Tim wasn't a huge fan of Wonderland's War. He finally got to play it. That's why I was really hoping he would jump on the stream. I don't want him to because, again, if he has anything like what I have, I want him to rest. But, and then I know Dan finally got to play it. And he said it was pretty good. And he's not a huge push your luck guy. But me and Bob absolutely love this game. And it's the best bag building game I've ever played. It's the best push your luck game I've ever played. And it's one of my favorite area majority games that's out there. It's really Battle Quacks. It is Battle Quacks. Yeah, see, Tim gives it a 7.5. In our official review, I give it a 9.5. Because I have it in my top 10 on my BGG, I now give it a 10. Because I say if it's in my top 10, it's a 10. It may not be a perfect game, but it's one of my favorite all-time games, and therefore it's perfect for me. It deserves a 10. And yeah, right now it's like borderline top 5 for me. I absolutely love Wonderland's War. So my favorite game that starts with the letter W is easily Wonderland's War. Let me go back to where to go. I'm sorry. We had great question. So it's on the box. I think it might be a little conservative, and then it says 25 minutes per player. I'd say it's a little longer than that. I have played now. Granted, it takes a bit to set up, like especially if you have retail. Deluxe, if you have the premium chips, all the chips are already in an excellent organizer. You just lay that out on the table and you're done setting up the chips. Now, I will show you one thing that has helped me. I did say I wanted to get a little bit deeper into some games. One of our Discord members really liked how we had a recent review. It was actually Andrew's Wingspan Asia expansion review. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. That's the other W game I love. I almost brought up Wingspan, but I'm not going to do that. My chips. So one, I put them in these little organizers like that. So pop the top, bam, all those chips are ready to go. I'm also a big coin capsule fan. So I didn't know they were going to reprint this. Had no idea. So coin capsules for me. I did this with Quacks. I love the result. I did this with this game. I love the result. I was totally content with this. I can set it up a little quicker with this. I love the clackety clack of the coin capsules. And I was totally fine. But then Bob liked the game so much that he tracked down the deluxe, first edition, tracked down the deluxe. And then I played that, and I'm like, oh, wow, my retail is totally inferior. Totally inferior. So I did totally all in on second edition. I love this game. I got the deluxe chips coming. I have those little miniature rings coming. I don't have those dice for the leader strength. I, I got D6s, you know, and I never had an issue bumping those, you know, and I don't think that's the best solution for leader strength. So I didn't get those D6s. Thought about getting some of the art. I love the art. So I really thought about getting some of those prints. I didn't. But I've always loved that theme, and I like the art for this game. But yeah, sorry, I kind of dodged that question a little bit. I've been a little bit all over the place reading the comments, and again, maybe cold meds. So built-in excuse tonight. Yeah, if you have 2 hours with 4 and a teach, that's right about it. And that's why I say it's 25 minutes per player is what they say on the box. I'd say it's a little longer than that, maybe 30 minutes per player. Teaching is easy, but it takes a little while. There's a lot of steps to cover, but it's a breeze to teach. It's a breeze to learn. It takes a bit to set up, though, like, you know, 15, 20 minutes to set up, I'd say. But I think it's easy to set up. Like, I don't have to think, oh, okay, I only need these out of this deck. And to me, I don't even need the book to set this game up. I know what goes where, and that's after 6 plays now. So I don't think it's hard to set up, teach, learn. So none of that bothers me. Yeah, I've played it with a 12-year-old several times who really liked it. I've played 2-player games and really enjoyed it with him. I've played 2-player games with buddies and really enjoyed it. But really, you want 3 or more because, for one, it's an area majority game. And the more people you have involved in these different battles, the more interesting it is, the more player interaction there is. But also, it's that wager mechanic where you can wager on, if you're not in a battle, you can wager on the people that are in battle, who you think is going to win. I love that mechanic. And I know that was like one of the last things that was just kind of thrown in the game. Don't care. It's great. That is such an interesting and fun way to keep non-battling players vested in what's going on at the table. I mean, you're either going to get a shard, which is -1 points, or you're going to get another chip. And getting new chips in a bag building game is like, it's like nerd crack. You just can't get enough of it, you know? So that wager mechanic, I just absolutely love. Well, I'm still on Wonderland's War, and I guess I've dug a little bit deeper into it. Oh, of course, my rule book's all the way at the bottom. So yes, I think it is very useful if you have retail to get something like this to organize it. It saves a ton of time. I also don't put out the cards for each chip because every player, there's versions of the player aid that have all of the chips on it. So it's redundant. It's a table hog already. You don't need the chip references plus player aid references for what's on those cards. One set of cards, that's it. So that saves you on setup and table space. Now, I happen to have a pretty big table, so getting Wonderland's War on my table is not an issue, but it will eat up some tables. Big board, tons of player boards. Now, my favorite character to play is definitely Mad Hatter. That's not even close. So a couple things about that. One is he's got the mechanic where you can, one of his abilities is every time your madness track maxes out, you can get a new chip for your bag. Awesome. So encourages you to get more madness. So you can combo that by going around the table during the tea party phase more than the other players, guaranteeing that you get extra madness than they do, so that you have to take an additional madness chip every round. Because the more often you can fill that madness track, the more you'll get a chip for your bag. Love that mechanic. He's also got another one that works great with that one. And it's you can take one of his teacup chips and slot it into his madness track. Oh, so now you're speeding up that mechanic even more. So you're refreshing your bag more often. You're benefiting on that other ability of getting an additional chip more often. It's such a fun play style. You don't care that you've got extra madness in your bag. You're getting more chips. And oh man, it's great. I'm a huge fan. I've also seen the updated boards, and in fact, I printed them, and I got an extra copy for Bob, and I got one, and mine, it's printed and it's upstairs. I was going to actually kind of go over the differences a little bit. They changed the Mad Hatter's ability, specifically that one where you can slot teacup chips into the madness track to fill it up quicker. It used to be you could add 3 strength to it, and they nerfed it. They changed it to where it only adds it keeps its base value strength. But can you imagine getting an extra 3 strength from that teacup chip and slotting it in your madness track? It is one of the main reasons why that people say he can be overpowered to play. So they took away that extra 3 strength. The other thing I know they did, and I did, by the way, when I backed it, I bought the new edition comes with the updated player boards. You don't even get the choice of the old ones. Well, because I'm probably going to sell my retail, of course, I bought the updated player boards, so I'll put that in my retail copy. So there you go. I'm going to have a coin capsule retail with the updated expansion and the updated player boards, all in the first edition box. So it should sell for a pretty penny. Not that I'm that guy, but sometimes I am. I want. Oh man, I can't wait to get deluxe. So the Jabberwocky, or the Jabberwock, I call them the Jabberwocky. Aren't those dancers that were from So You Think You Can Dance? The Jabberwockies. So the Jabberwock. I need whiskey after that one. So this is only my second sip of the night, and I'm 53 minutes into the stream. So good job pacing yourself, Mike. Pat on the back there. Excellent job. Excellent job. Good job mixing your Jack Daniels rye with Ricola. Okay. And then, since you've dealt with enough silence already, pardon me while I stay hydrated. Again, I got a situation with this change of weather. Thank you. I just want to stay hydrated. My throat's going to dry out real quick. The Jabberwock. Whoa. Oh, yeah. That wasn't even an intentional bad joke. I just flubbed up what he was called. The Jabberwocky. The Jabberwock. He was considered the weakest player board from first edition. So, oh, see. Oh my gosh. He got me a choke up on that one. I'm choking up on my Ricola spit. That's keeping me from coughing. You're making me cough extra. See, that's why it's more fun to have Tim here. Only he can throw those jabs in there and get me to choke on my Ricola. So, all right. So, the Jabberwock. Let's try this again. They buffed him. Last time I played it, Bob used the Jabberwock, supposedly the weakest one, with the updated player board, and won a 4-player game. And I've never seen that happen. And some of the abilities he was using looked awesome. But that's been a minute So, and I wasn't using his character, so I don't specifically remember the updates. So I apologize. I can't remember exactly what they changed on the Jabberwock, but they made him a lot stronger. So I think they did a great job balancing, because it can be tough to balance, these variable player power games where, each character has 4 completely unique upgrades plus a totally unique passive ability active for the entire game. It can be tough to balance stuff like that, but I think they really did a good job of making Mad Hatter not as strong and making the Jabberwock more powerful. Because I was watching the stuff that Bob was doing, and I'm like, wow, I can't wait to try the Jabberwock with the updated player boards. So, by the way, if you don't have the updated player boards for Wonderlands War, I can send you the link. I can put it in our Discord, or just, well, I got it from Druid City's Discord. I mean, James Hudson, he's one of the main guys of Druid City. They were one of the designers of that game. Skybound ultimately is who published it, but James Hudson, one of the big guys from Board Game Spotlight, one of the big Facebook groups, he put that PDF in their Discord. So if you want the updated player boards, just go print them. So there you go. But if you want to get it from me, I'll be happy to share those links in the Discord. So, or a Facebook group. I don't care. I don't cater to either one. But I think the player boards, the updates to them are fascinating. So, the H game. This one also made my top 50. This one was, I want to say, number 47. And I thoroughly enjoy Horrify. This is a fun, kind of basic cooperative game that gives you universal monsters to go defeat. And I think what I like about this one so much are these mini games that all of these monsters give you. I don't know what it is. I've played other games that have like multiple mini games going on, and I find them really fun. And I think this game has really cool mini games going on, because ultimately you're going around, you're picking up these resources from the board, and then you're using them to defend yourself, or using them to defend villagers, or you're turning them in on these mini games to defeat these monsters. And all of them are completely different. Like Dracula, he's the most basic character. He's got a really simple miniature game here. He's got 4 coffins. There's one in each corner of the map. You need to pick up a good that is 6 strength or higher off the board. It's also red, so a 6 strength red good. Or you need red goods that equal 6 or higher among all of them. Doesn't matter how many it is. You can take 6 ones if you want, but that's wasteful. You take those goods to one of the corners of the map, and that destroys the coffin. Once you've destroyed all 4 of the coffins, then you take, what is it? It's hard to see on the reverse of this. Wow. I couldn't tell that looked yellow. Weird. You need a total of 6 or higher in yellow to go defeat Dracula and remove him from the board completely. Well, he's just one monster you're going to fight against. I've fought against 4. And it can be tough, but that's what's cool. You can scale your difficulty with this. If you want to make it a hard game, throw 5 monsters in. That would be nuts. I've never done that. But yeah, Dracula's got the super, super basic miniature game. One of the ones I like playing a lot is the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Your goods are either red, yellow, or blue. So you pick them up from around the board, and then you go to a location on the board called the camp. When you're at the camp, you can expend one of those colored resources to move a boat from here up to whatever color you discard. So obviously it's not very good to get rid of red. Get rid of a blue so you can move all the way up here. And then when you're there, get rid of a yellow so you can move all the way down here. So you're trying to move all the way through this lagoon. It's going to take you multiple turns and rounds to get all the way to the I said, it's hard to read these on my reflection here. All the way to where the creature his lair is. Once you've done that, take one of each color to the creature's place and destroy him. I really like that miniature game. My where's the one that is that gets me? Where's the one that I always have a hard time with? Now, this is actually my favorite minigame. It's the Mummy. This little miniature game is crazy. You're going to put a 1, a 2, and a 3 here, and a 1, a 2, and a 3 here. It's actually random. So you flip them over, and you don't know which one's which. Okay? But then, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Been a minute, and I'm, again, reading backwards here. You got to get them in the correct space, and they're laid out on here randomly. So you have to flip them over to show their number, 1. Then you have to move them to the correct spot. So, if the 4 starts up here, geez, it's so weird to read this backwards. If you got the 4 up here, you got to get it all the way down here to where the 4 is, but you got to get all of these to line up. So there's this interesting little, okay, I'm going to move this one here so I can move this one here, and then I'll move that one in that blank spot, and then this one can go here. Really cool mini game. That's my favorite mini game of Horrified. But that's why this one, in my opinion, is superior to Pandemic. I like these little mini games that you're playing to try to defeat these monsters, and I like this theme much, much more. And the theme is what makes this game shine, in my opinion. Now, what's the one that gets me? It is the Wolfman. No, it's the one that chases people. It's the Invisible Man. He'll always just keep moving towards you. Like, you'll have one person that becomes the Mummy's puzzle. It's definitely my favorite. The Invisible Man puzzle is pretty basic. You're just trying to get locations, tiles that show specific locations, and just place them on the board. Although I do think what makes him interesting is that he's always moving towards villagers. So he's always chasing villagers. So he becomes tough because if a villager dies, that you lose one spot on the Horrified track. And early, that's not a big deal, but later in the game, you get a bunch of villagers on the board, and you only got 2 more spots on the Horrified track to go. You're panicking a little bit, and here's the Invisible Man. He's chasing down your villagers. He can make the end game very stressful. So I like him a lot. Now, like I said, I really enjoy this game. Frankenstein. Good Lord, Frankenstein. Where are you at, Tim? Frankenstein. Where are you at? Who's got that reference? Come on. All right. So Frankenstein and the Bride. This one's great because it puts 2 miniatures on the map. So again, adds a little bit more of a challenge. That's right, Igor. Yeah, they're just fun because there's 2 miniatures on the map. I am personally not a painter. I'd like to try, but I did have a little 12-year-old boy who wanted to try and learn miniature painting. And he's like, I'm not going to ask for your Rising Sun miniatures, Mike. I'm like, okay, thank God, because you're not touching those yet. You're learning. Give me some miniatures to paint. So I told him to paint my Horrified miniatures. And I think for his first miniatures, these came out pretty dang good for a 12-year-old. Where's the ones that he's painted? Let me pull out some of my favorites. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a painter. I'd like to have more painted stuff, but I don't have the patience. I'll just be honest. Um, so he did do, I don't know how easy this will be to see. He did do, yeah, that doesn't look bad. He did do Frankenstein. It's not going to focus right. That's what's tough, but you can see color and shading. Kind of. Yeah, there you go. There's Frankenstein. And I thought he did a pretty good job on that. It's like literally one of the first miniatures he ever touched. Like, awesome. And then he did the bride as the second one. I was like, nah, don't. He had her dress painted white. I'm like, okay, she's a bride, but hey, buddy, these are monsters. So he did her, and he added some kind of, grime and sort of some blood to her dress. And I thought this one actually came out really cool. I like this one a lot. I'm sorry it won't focus. That kind of sucks, but you can get the coloring. I'm trying to find that spot where it feels like it's most focused. This is just like 3 colors and wash, but I love the detail on the creature of the Black Lagoon. I mean, this actually feels like it has like layers to it, and it's just a few colors and wash. Like he really did a good job behind it. Yeah, so like that. So I just thought, yeah, the detail that he was able to pull off for like literally the first handful of miniatures he ever touched, I thought came out really good. The other one's a little bit more basic, but those are kind of my favorites of the ones that he painted. But yeah, that's Horrified. That's my H. I just realized I'm an hour and 7 minutes into the stream and I'm on my H. That's how these usually go. I also said I don't know how long this one will go because of my throat and things like that. Oh yeah, I'll try that, Rob. Let me try. I'll pull one more out and see, because like I said, she was the one I thought came out pretty cool. Let's see if I can get her to. I don't know if this focuses or not. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Sorry guys, I'm trying. All right, that's like studio stuff. Or when I get a PC, I'll buy a USB cam. So I'm gonna put Horrified away. That's my H. There's not I haven't played a lot of cooperative games. I'll just be honest. And it's not that I don't like them. I would say it's because, the ones I played early, like Pandemic, I thought were just okay. So I didn't really seek out a lot of cooperative games. And then, a lot of people were talking up this game when it came out. I was like, all right, let's try this. I really, really enjoy it. Thanks for joining, Tim. Definitely get your rest, for sure, buddy. I really hope you don't get what I had, because it was nasty. Get your rest, bud, please. Thank you. Okay, so my I, this is a game I played for the first time at JuliaCon earlier this year. That's Tim's Sisters Con. They play games all weekend long. Usually 20 to 25 people in and out all weekend. Fantastic time. So glad that I've been invited to that. And I finally got to play It's a Wonderful World. And man, let me tell you, this quickly became one of my favorite engine builders. This was one of the more recent games I can remember where when I got done playing it, I immediately wanted to play it again. I don't own it. So I fixed that this week. Now, yes, this is just the expansion, one of the expansions. The base game's coming, so I had to buy it from 2 different sellers. So one of them arrived earlier, along with my USB-C splitter, which is kind of doing its job. I'm on 40%, but I'm literally popping the shrink off of this now. So live unboxing. Oh, yeah, this box is smaller than I thought, and lighter than I thought. I knew this expansion was small, but I was just curious. Yeah, I kind of hate now that I see what I paid for this. It's a little insulting. It's like, it's that board, and then it's those cards, and then it's just a few of those, and then it's some of these. Ooh, one fell out already. That's all right. Yeah, I liked it a lot, and honestly, the only reason I made sure to get this expansion is because it supports 7 players. Like, honestly, that is the primary reason. Again, a little insulting for what you get for what I paid, but that's it's the content that you're getting. It's the design and the art that went into it, not necessarily components when it comes to these yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I'm past showing miniatures. Those are like literally the only painted ones I think I have. So I'll figure that out next time. uh, um, but yeah, it's a wonderful world. Going back to that, yeah. I'm always trying to find games that will support those counts above 5, because 4 is your Euro sweet spot. 5 more games are starting to cover. I hate when games have to throw an expansion to make it a 5-player game. I mean, I'll play them, but some games they do those expansions for 5 players and they're just not balanced. They just throw them in. But so I'm always looking for games that'll support 5, 6, 7. Those are tough counts to get good games in that are not social deduction or party games. So I had to get this expansion because I want to be able to play it with 7. This is not only a great engine builder, it's also a really good drafting game. I'd much rather play this over 7 Wonders, and I think it's easier to teach. 7 Wonders is not hard to learn, but I've seen the iconography goof people up. There's no iconography in this game. It's colored cubes, and you use them to produce cards, and then cards produce cubes, and then those cubes allow you to build cards, and then those produce cubes. And that sounds so basic, but it's just got this neat production chain. And the guys make fun of me how often I say, I love combos. I like combos in games. I do. I like being able to do this, and that allows me to do that. And then I can do this, and then I can do that. So It's a Wonderful World has this neat production chain. And if you plan it right, you're building multiple cards on one production turn, and it feels really satisfying. So I played this game once at 7 players. It was a breeze to learn. It played, 45 minutes. And yeah, I just feel like it's a game that casual gamers are easily going to be able to learn and play effectively right away. I feel like it's a game that's short enough that you want to play multiple times, and it's a really satisfying engine building game. So, yeah, so I cannot wait to play it again. I don't have the base game box here, but again, I am going to be the only one in our group that has base plus expansion. Bob has base. And he keeps saying, oh, I don't have everything for it. I'm like, we'll get the expansion. Well, somebody's going to have it. It's me now. So there you go. I will be bringing this to Game Group, and I'll be trying to get it played with my buddies, too. You can play this with anybody. It's really good. So very happy to have that. I may have mentioned I had it ranked, I think, like 34 after 1 play. So I think very highly of this game. That's the basement. It could go higher, more plays. Yeah, I could see this going up. So a big fan of It's a Wonderful World. I guess I did get a Christmas present to myself. There you go. It is the base game shipping Saturday, so Christmas Eve. There you go. So I'll have it for Christmas. That'll be great. Jason, I totally agree with you. Oh my gosh. That game's great. I finally played it for the first time a couple months ago. I've been begging Tim Honestly, as long as I've known him, we have to play this game. And he finally taught it to me, and it was an awesome experience. I came in second in a 4-player game. I took out one of the players' castles, which Tim led me to believe is not a common thing. And it was so fulfilling. I'm not a backstabby kind of guy when I play games. In fact, I'll find myself turtling and just building up my own little thing. And then, okay, how am I going to end this thing? Or how am I going to win this thing? And I just realized, oh, there's a tunnel. Oh, and it'll transport me adjacent to his castle. Ooh, and I have the lizard folk, and they have one of their warriors can attack adjacent. So I hit the tunnel, they're adjacent to his castle. He did not expect that I would be able to attack, and I did from an adjacent territory. And I had already mapped out all I needed to take out his castle. And all I could just do is go, oh crap, this is happening. So that game is amazing. I don't own it. That's another one. I played it one time and I ranked it, I want to say like 27 or 28. So I ranked it higher than It's a Wonderful World after just one play. If I had the box here, I would definitely be talking about it for my age. Trust me. But I don't. Again, it was a game before I met the Rundown guys. I'm like, if I buy this, when the hell am I ever going to get it played? This is a lot of game. And while it's easy to learn, it's a big box. There's a ton of pieces. And I just, again, wasn't sure who I'd be able to play it with until I found a regular group. And now I just got to have a copy of this game. I need more of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. It's really good. Okay, so my S, I didn't try to get too cute. I just went for one of my all-time favorite games, so I can do another deep dive, and that is Scythe. For the longest time, this was my favorite game ever. I still kind of consider it that. Because I have a 3-way tie at my top 3. I talked about this. It's kind of 3 games, and depending on the day, you can flip a coin. As far as overall, I picked Blood on the Clocktower as my number 1 of all time. But I understand it's a social deduction game. That's not for everybody. And so, when people ask me what my all-time favorite game is, it's not always my lead, because there's a big subset of the board game community that just doesn't do social deduction. I get it. My number 2 is Concordia. Scythe is 3. Scythe used to be my 1, but I haven't played it in 2 years. I'm still playing Blood on the Clocktower as much as I can. I'm still carrying Concordia to game groups and trying to get people to play it. I'm not carrying Scythe around and trying to get it played. So that's why I moved it down. But I absolutely love the game of Scythe. So I real quickly want to talk about, just for fun, my favorite faction and my favorite strategy. Ooh. Hey, I just realized you are playing along, and I realized that, but then I was slow to realize it. That's great. So yeah, Suburbia is a good game. I have the original first edition with the Suburbia Inc. expansion. That was one of the first probably 20 games I bought in my collection. I've played it probably 15 times. I've played it a lot. I do like Suburbia a lot. I don't know. I like it. Tile laying city building games are not my favorite mechanism. I know I just hurt Rob Silver's feelings when I say that, because those are his favorite mechanics or themes. But they're not my favorite. But Suburbia is really good. It's my favorite city building game. They just don't happen to be my favorite types of games. But I do like Suburbia. I think it's I knew that was coming. I'll still play them. I want to play more of them. But yeah, there's other games I like more. Sorry. But no, I'll still play Suburbia any day of the week. I still think that game's great. Easily an 8.5 for me. But yeah, I played so many good. I mean, just as an example, real quick. Okay, so this year, I played 376 games this year. I was hoping to get to 400 because I've only done that once. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to play as many games over the holidays as I thought. And plus, I was sick, so I didn't game last week. This Friday here in northern Indiana, they're talking about blizzard conditions. Our group regularly meets Fridays. I don't even know if anybody's going to mess with it. I can't blame them. I'm still recovering from this flu bug. And yeah, if there's 6 inches on the ground and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I'll probably stay home. So unfortunately, my 376 plays are going to stay dormant until Christmas Day. So 376 plays, 134 different games, 89 new to me games. That's the most I've ever had. And so that's why older games like Suburbia got shifted back, because I got introduced to Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and It's a Wonderful World, and Wonderland's War, and Blood on the Clock Tower, and Twilight Inscription. Foundations of Rome, Planet Unknown. These games are all games I put in my top 50 that I played for the first time this year. I just got flooded with new to me, amazing games. And so, yeah, unfortunately, it pushed Suburbia out of my top 50. It used to be really high, for sure. But I'm glad people still like and play Suburbia. Great game, great choice. I've seen reports of us getting almost that much. I said 5 because I think that was an old forecast. The one I saw yesterday was, I want to say 10 to 16 or something like that. Rob lives about 3.5 hours north of where we are located, which is, he lives directly on Lake Michigan, the town that he lives in. Where we're all located, the Rundown guys, we're about 45 miles off of Lake Michigan. So we are right on that outer barrier of where you get lake effect snow. In fact, we're so close to the outer barrier. Dan just blew my mind. Hold on. Hold that thought, Dan. You can't just waltz into a room and just throw that around. Wow. Woo! I just got excited. Yeah, so right off of Lake Michigan. We're not Buffalo, but we get a buttload of lake effect snow here. We really do. And like I said, we're right on the outer band of it. If you go 15 miles south of here, you can actively look at the ground and see the snowfall shrink as you go south. That's how close you are to the outer band of lake effect snow here. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is what Dan blew my mind with. Why would you midstream I was midstream of consciousness and all just went away because Dan wants to play mine and his all-time favorite game on Discord Friday. Are you kidding me with that? Oh my gosh. If anybody wants to try Blood on the Clock Tower, if you got cold feet, if you want to try it in our Discord, we're willing to teach you. We're willing to play. You can do it on a phone or a PC. I cannot suggest this game enough. If you like social deduction, Blood on the Clock Tower is truly an amazing experience. My S, let's get back to this. I'm an hour 24. I'm only looking at time because I said I wouldn't go too long. I do need to rest this throat thing that I've been dealing with, but I definitely appreciate everybody's comments. That's what makes this fun. That's what makes me go longer than I planned. That's what that's why we keep doing it. We love doing these streams, and you guys make it worthwhile. So my S real quick, I do want to talk about Scythe. Oh boy, I did this, and now I'm gonna have to put it back in the box. That's gonna have to happen later. Let me show you real quick. I want to make sure I didn't flub up their name. It's been a while since I've played this game. Man, it's so sad how long it's been. It's the Yellow Guys. Yellow Guys. are Crimean. See, I was way off, man. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. So these are my favorite guys to play. It's Crimean. Okay. I know a lot of people like to use red Rusviet because they have well, if you pair them with industrial, it's a banned combination in tournaments. So don't, especially if you want your friends to still play this game with you, don't use that combination. Industrial and red Rusviet. Most people know that by now, but just in case. Yeah, there's a rush, the industry, which is the middle tile on the map. There's a strategy for that. I try not to even look those up. I try specifically to not do that when I play them. But Crimean is amazing, and it's because of that ability. Once per turn, using a combat card as a wild resource. Amazing ability. And I love this ability. And you're probably right, Andrew. It's been a little while since I've looked at the errata of Scythe. I know that Crimean is now considered the second most powerful faction. And yeah, it may have even 2 banned combinations. I don't know for sure. I don't know which ones they are. Again, I like trying to figure out strategies by myself. There are some games I really get into where I've had games I enjoyed, but I sucked at, and I did look at strategies to try to get better. It barely helped. It maybe gave me a direction, but I still lost terribly. But yeah, it's honestly just that it's that wild ability that I love from Crimean. Again, I mentioned it in what game were we talking about? I tend to be the guy that may turtle a little bit. I'll try to run my own engine over here. Now, sure, if you give me Saxony and give me a reason to go chase people around, I'll do it because that's their strategy. But I don't prefer that play style. I would rather run my own engine. And I like when I love games of Scythe where I can totally stay away from combat and get a money engine going. Those are my favorite games of Scythe. I don't know why. For example, oh, this is perfect. This may be even the banned one. I don't know. But like this would be perfect for Crimean. You want to get more of the battle cards. So that would be like the first unlock I would do. And then I would try to get this down to where I'm only paying 1 wood and I'm getting 3 coin. Yeah, that's the way to play Crimean, is you get yourself as many of those battle cards as you can and then just use them as your wild resource and dump them into these 1 resource, 3 gold production chains. You can run away with the game. So Dan, that is the one I mentioned, which is Rusviet. So they're the ones that they do have the strongest band combination. You can't mix them with industrial because they have a set number of turns you can take over the industry tile. It's like 6 or 7 turns. It's crazy. I've never tried it, to be honest. I know you can do it. I've never tried. I don't choose that faction because I know, because of the band combo. But anyway, their ability, they're the ones that can pick the same spot more than once. So, if I want to keep using, that section of the board over and over and over, you can. I think that's a cool ability if you're new to the game. It seems really powerful. If you played the game a lot, I don't think it's as useful. But they do, it's because they have the whole move between a village you control and the factory. That's why you can rush the factory with them. Oh, so let's see what I've got here, Andrew. So you say Polania. or Polania, Crimean and patriotic. There's patriotic. Oh, so maybe it's because of the mech section here. So the mech section of the board, once again, it's got that combat card up there, so you can get 2 every turn. And one iron to get your 3 gold, and it's on the mech. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Yeah. Yeah, I could see wrecking shop with that combination for sure. Because again, that's Crimean is my favorite to use. I love the wild resource. I don't really enjoy playing with the Nordic. Workers can swim. So what? I don't think that's great. I really don't. I never have liked that one that much. Now, I do think it's kind of cool though to be able to move and retreat from lakes. That mech ability is pretty fun. But overall, I think their passive ability is the weakest. So, yeah, my deep dive into Sai. I've played, as far as games that take more than an hour and a half to play. Okay. This is the one I've played the most. I've played this game 25 times. I don't have a lot of games that take an hour and a half or more that I've played even more than 10 times. So to have played this one 25 times, I am, yeah, safe to say I'm very versed in Sai. But I don't like to, it's been a while since I've looked up the errata of the band combos and stuff. I just remember, again, Rus, Fiat, and Industrial. This one, I've never been a fan of either. Polania. I knew there was a Polania in here somewhere, but they're the white ones. They get 2 options from encounter cards. In any game that has, expand. That's never been a strategy I employ. I don't know why. And I think the encounter cards are cool, but like choosing an extra option is not even, for me, enough reason to chase extra encounter cards. I'd rather be hunkering down on my engine. Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm teaching people, if I'm, playing people that haven't played this game that much, yeah, I'll take them most of the time. I do think they are the weakest. Water buffalo faction. Oh, I love that. That's great. Water buffalo. Oh man. All right, guys. I do have to keep this video moving. I could talk side all day. I'm glad you guys are appreciating these more kind of deep dives into these games. Again, this was sorry for the extra racket. I do want to get side away while I'm talking if I can. This was a suggestion in our Discord. It's like, hey, why don't you guys get deeper into games? And I think we break down games pretty well in a review. Huge credit to Dan. I think Dan is excellent. Yes, Dan, I'm giving you a big compliment. I think Dan is excellent about breaking games down, far better than I am. So I think I'm good at expressing how a game makes me feel, but Dan is much better at breaking down mechanics of a game. And so I think our reviews do a good job of that, and people like that. People also tend to like our banner in reviews. We will cut up in our reviews and our top 10s, and that's half the fun, is us, a bunch of friends just giving each other crap on camera for 2 hours. That's one of the reasons we do it. But yeah, I'm super happy to be able to go into detail on one of my favorite games of all time. So thank you for that. To keep this guy flying, I am on to K now. Let me look at the comments real quick. Oh, whoops. I meant to hit Dan's. Sorry, I'll come back to you, Andrew. Encounters are fun. They are a fun part of the game. I think it's fun to make people, they say to do it in the book, but I'm to a T on this. 1, When one player announces their bottom row action, the next player starts their turn. Nothing that bottom row action can do can affect the next player. None of it. So keep the game moving. Do your bottom row action. Number two, I think encounters are fun, and I think players should read them out loud because they're thematic. And I don't. They got these kind of little cheesy backstories that actually make sense, so they're fun. They're fun. Bummer. Hey, all right, so I'll keep it moving with this segue because my K is Karuba. Yes, I love this game. Look at how worn my box is. I have taken this game this game has been in multiple states. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love Karuba. It's such a simple game that gives you arduous decisions. And those are some of my favorite games I'll ever play. Give me a simple rule set and make every decision tough and interesting. And Karuba does that so extremely well. Just this simple tile laying game, and you're trying to get these dudes from through these paths to the pyramid, and that's the game. It is so simple. There's no deep diving in Karuba. It's get your dudes to the pyramids as fast as possible. Make sure you can share as many paths as possible, because multiple guys can use the same path. So why build if you got 4 guys going to 4 pyramids? If they can all share the same path, that's more efficient tile placement. So you try to do that. You can't always, because sometimes you make it really difficult based on the placement that you choose. But yeah, the more people that share paths, the more efficient you are, and the more likely you're going to win this game. But I absolutely love it. And yeah, so have I. Again, this box is beat to hell. I was talking about plays. As far as just plays 50 times on this game, I just love this game. And it was only recently I put it in my, I want to say low 40s, maybe 42. Bob put it in his 30s. So me and Bob, huge fans. I didn't realize how big of a fan Bob was until I saw he brought Karuba to some meetups. I'm like, oh. And then he ranked it in his 30s. He ranked it higher than I did. I was like, oh. So now Bob and I are determined to try this. Combine our 2 copies, not mix the components. Don't get disgusting here. I'm talking about 2 copies of Karuba on the same table. An 8-player game of Karuba is what I'm talking about. Me and Bob have to pull this off. We've talked about it so many times now. I've got to try, or at least 5 plus. And yeah, all you need is multiple copies of Karuba to do this. You want to play 12-player games of Karuba? Go get 3 copies of Karuba. Another thing I learned from Bob, and I need to just remedy this at any point in time. Earlier during this stream, we talked about how I've got extra Crown Royale bags. Bob is the one that showed me just get a blind bag, get a felt bag, something that you can put the tiles in, so that the drawer, they don't have to dump all the tiles out, put them face down. They just draw tiles from the bag. I don't know why I didn't do that before. That's genius. Yeah. So get yourself a bag and have the drawer just pull them randomly from a bag. Let me go ahead and show you one thing I've got here. Oh man, somebody did this to me. Don't you get it when somebody puts a game away and they don't close the Ziploc bags? That's how crap gets everywhere. Gosh. Yes, I'm very anally over here. Ooh, Rob is already forecasting for the E. I'll get there real quick because I do want to start trying to wrap this up. Go on BGG. You could print these at home and they make fine little mini expansions. I've found that a lot of people don't even know these exist. So if I got Karuba fans in the house, let's talk about these mini expansions. I kept it in a little envelope here. And this is called the Karuba extension. So I just printed that off. And all it is just variable. There's 4 different in-game like variable scoring tiles that you can add to the game. There's no extra rule set to this whatsoever. So one of them is the first player to collect at least 1 gold nugget or 1 crystal in every adventure. That's, you know, matching the person to their pyramid. The first player to collect at least 1 nugget or crystal in every adventure receives this bonus tile. It's worth 2 points. Cool. Easy to play with. Best treasure collector. First person to collect at least 4 gold nuggets or crystals in any one adventure gets this, and it's worth 3. Cool. Best route builder. The first person to use routes to connect all the adventurers with temples that match their color receives this bonus tile. 3 points. That one's great too, because I'm always trying to be that person anyway. I mean, if you're trying to play this game, you know, min-maxing it, that's how you're trying to play it anyway. The fastest runner. The first person to move all their adventurers at least once. So that's a neat little thing that normally you wouldn't think about. Go on BGG and just print these out. They don't have to sit on a player board. You just need like that little printout. That's it. And then the other one is they're called the lava tiles. And all they are is a blocking mechanism. That's it. So at the beginning of the game, everybody will randomly lay a lava tile down somewhere. Can't put a path there. That's it. So if you want to add more variety to your games of Karuba, go on to BGG, print these out for free. You don't need anything fancy to mark one spot on your board. I just have literally, again, printed pieces of paper. Ethnos is Equinox is a great choice. I spoiled mine. I don't own it yet. It's still $20 on Amazon, by the way. Hell, hit our affiliate link. But that is a really good bidding game, Reiner Knizia game. I don't own it though, but I do have Ethnos. And again, you want to talk about how it can be tough to find games that support 6. This plays 6, and this is good. Oh yes, there we go. Jason picking a lot of games I'm enjoying tonight. Man, oh my gosh. So I've been hearing great things about Encyclopedia. It was not on my radar whatsoever. And then the backers started getting it, and then the hype is going through the roof, and now I have to play this game. Oh my gosh, I need to play Encyclopedia. Good choice. Fell flat for me. I can go into that, but just didn't. Yeah, Endless Winter fell flat for me. I wanted to like it a lot, but I didn't really. So I need to try some of the modules. I've heard those will add more variability. So you know, I'm not going to give up on Endless Winter, but I do want to try modules. So yeah, Ethnos. Paolo Mori game, designer of Libertalia, many others. And he made this very simple card drafting game that also happens to be a territory control game. And it works really well. And it's really easy to play, and it zips around the table. There is no downtime. You either play cards or you draw cards. But the playing, there's no like, I'm not sure where it goes so fast. But one of the things I like about this game so much is just the variability that this game has. I thought I had all of those cards in one spot. But this game, anyway, this game has like 12 factions you can play with. But, oh, that's why. Those were the wrong cards. Okay. Yeah, there's only there's 12 factions to choose from in this game, but you only play with 6 of them each game. So you can kind of mix and match which ones you play with. You can pick them randomly, or you can hand select them. And I like the replayability this game has, because depending on the different sets of cards that you've got in play, you get totally different games going on here. So each time you play a band of cards, it allows you to put territory control markers on the board. The more of those you have than other players, the more points you're going to score, from each territory you control. That's interesting. I never thought this game needed any tweaks, but maybe I'll consider that. That's interesting. I will say I don't really like using the halflings. And the reason is because halflings double the band strength of the hand that you play. In this game, if you play a band of cards that has 6 cards in it, you get 30 points, okay? So yeah, you're trying to play as big of a band as you can. And a band is considered either all one color or all one faction. So I'm either trying to play all green cards, or I'm trying to play all orcs, for example, okay? Well, the bigger that band is, the more points you score. Well, 6 is the biggest, that's 15 points. Halflings double the strength of your band. And there's twice as many halflings in the game as any other faction. And so I find if you have halflings in the game, you cannot ignore them. You must get as many as you can. Everybody's trying to gobble up halflings. So not my favorite play style. I prefer the other factions that have that have actual abilities. But also with halflings, they are nerfed. They're not like overpowered because they don't let you place a territory control marker. I did forget about that. But that's the only deep dive I'll do on Ethnos, is just I don't necessarily like to play with the halflings because I think it just makes everybody chase the halflings. So let me go back to some of the other comments. Yeah, I might give that a shot. That is interesting. I like Ethnos. I like the tension the game has. There's 3 dragon cards in the deck, and they're shuffled in, except the bottom one is shuffled into the bottom third of the deck, so you don't know exactly when it's coming out. And so after 2 dragons have been drawn, the tension goes whoa, as you're waiting for that last dragon, and you're like, shoot, I've got a band of 4. I need to play it now. Or, oh man, should I try for 5? What if a dragon's the next card out? Too bad. You're done. And all those cards are stuck in your hand. You get no points for them. So I really like Ethnos. I like the tension. I like how quickly it plays. And I like the replayability because of all of those decks. I still have enjoyed all my plays of Ethnos. So, like I said, why I didn't have anything. Unless you want to talk about Yahtzee. Here you go. That's a good way to keep the house rule in check. That's pretty good. I do kind of like that. Since Yahtzee was mentioned, I'm gonna do it. Do I have them all in here? You guys ever go to Barnes and Noble or any other stores and try to track down those like Yahtzee sets? Well, I don't have all the dice. Oh no, where'd the other one go? I bet it's in my dice tower. Well, anyway, one of the Yahtzee sets that I tracked down was for the board game or video game franchise Borderlands. You probably can't even tell that is Claptrap, the annoying robot in the game of Borderlands. Yeah, give me a second. He's not in there either. I don't know where my other Borderlands dice are. So this was Borderlands Yahtzee. This was literally the dice cup that they offered for Borderlands Yahtzee. And Borderlands is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. I love all of these games so much. And yes, sir, Claptrap. I love it. I have so many Claptraps. This is not the only Claptrap that I own. He's the only dice cup, but I have many Funko Pop Borderlands characters, most of them being Claptrap. He's one of my favorite video game characters of all time. I love his stupid humor. He's this annoying robot, and he says the most off the wall, hilarious crap the entire game, and I love it. Wub wub wub, wub wub wub, wub wub wub. Who's got me? So I have Borderlands Yahtzee. And I also have, dang it, I don't know where that dice tower is either. I also bought Walking Dead Yahtzee because that dice tower is a zombie head. So it's literally a zombie head. Half his brain's missing, and it's yeah, that's my other Yahtzee that I own. But no, unfortunately, haven't played Yokohama, haven't played Yido, haven't played, why am I forgetting the other one? Yamatai? Yeah. Haven't played any of them, unfortunately. So I had no why. So I'm showing off my Yahtzee sets. I'm glad that turned into a Borderlands conversation. My goodness, I love me some Borderlands. Well, guys, that has been my top games that start with the letters in whiskey. A totally just off-the-wall, fun, arbitrary topic that I thought would just be a way to bring up random games and get on the stream. And I think it worked really well for this kind of solo stream tonight. I still have whiskey. I've been talking so much because I have to fill all the air. I can't take sips while someone else is talking. I'm not going to finish this stream with whiskey left. That would be alcohol abuse. So I will finish this before I'm done. So I'm kind of wrapping up, not quite wrapping up. But Jason, thank you for joining us again. Rob, as always, we always appreciate your support. Rob's like our super fan. We so appreciate it. I'm just gonna, we're just gonna make this whole thing disappear. Why not? I remember when Tim did his first live stream. I noticed he was drinking whiskey. He didn't pre-plan that. He didn't talk about it. He just had a glass of whiskey on the stream. I was like, that's good. I'm making that a thing. I've mentioned this before. I tend to be a guy who sees things and I just run with them. And I will run with them until somebody says, that's stupid, stop, or it blows up. I mean, Whiskey Wednesday is officially a thing. It's only because our first stream was on Wednesday and because Tim was drinking whiskey on that stream. Ta-da! That was it. So Whiskey Wednesday became a thing. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, I will keep doing this. I wasn't totally feeling up for it. I still feel a little under the weather. I chewed up, not my last cough drop, but I don't want to buy another or bite into another. And yeah, we're going to keep doing these because you guys make it worth it. It's so fun just reacting to the comments. I mean, how long did I spend just talking about random crap before I even touched this list? That's what makes it fun. You guys do. So we really appreciate your support every single time. Yeah. You know what? I didn't care. And I'm also not surprised. And I'm actually happy. I want a higher draft pick. We suck this year. We have nothing to play for. Nothing. Get that higher draft pick. We haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since Andrew Luck. We're getting our first round quarterback next year. And at this rate, we may only be the second team to draft a quarterback. So I'm really excited about having a young quarterback on the roster. That's right. He's a Patriots fan. You're right. That was way worse because that play, oh man, wow. I mean, the Colts have been terrible all year. And the Vikings, I'm going on a sports tangent. It's one of my other things. If you know anything about me, I'll talk all day about football. So sorry to those that have left us. But geez, I just had a brain fart. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Football, yes. NFL games, those terrible losses. I want the higher draft pick for the Colts. Oh, well, that's what they've been doing this year. Losing games that they should win. Matt Ryan leads the league in turnovers. So honestly, I told lots of people before that game, no single result in this game will surprise me. Not one. So Colts got up by 27. I'm like, watch, they'll probably choke this lead away. They got up by 33. I'm like, watch, they'll choke this lead away. I'm not making this up. Like this is what the 2022 Colts have been. This terrible team that turns the ball over more than any other team in football, comes out of the gate super slow, can't score in the first half. And here's a game where they are just lighting up a 10-3 team on the road to the tune of 33 in the first half. I'm like, this is not going to last. Watch, we're going to come out flat. Minnesota's going to make this a game. I kept saying it over and over. I'm not bragging, but that's what the Colts season has been this year. That's literally that game was the epitome of the Colts season right there. And not to mention the Vikings. While the Vikings have been a lot more consistent this year and a better team this year, they've shown a propensity to do this in the past. Kirk Cousins chokes in primetime games. Kirk Cousins, every year you think the Vikings are a contender, they will lay an egg in primetime, or they'll lose to the Lions at home in seasons they only win 3 games. So for the Vikings to just not show up at home and get booed into the locker room at the end of the first half, and then to come back and win that game did not surprise me whatsoever. Like, I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised. I wanted that higher draft pick all along. I don't want them to win that game. They gain nothing by winning that game. They miss out on a chance for a better quarterback. So, yeah, I wanted them to lose. So, yeah, crazy way to lose. Now, if you're the Patriots and you still had chances to make the playoffs and you chuck a lateral 20 yards backwards to a quarterback who only has Chandler Jones in his face, that's way worse. I'm sorry. That's way worse. They needed that game so bad. And they lost to the Raiders, who have been terrible all year. That was a worse loss, in my opinion. So I'm glad they lost. I don't know what quarterback I want yet, but that's a different stream. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's got the worst Super Bowl loss in history. He's got the worst NFL loss in history. Now he's getting benched. The Colts are rolling with Nick Foles, which is a joke in itself. Guy should not be playing. I mean, he's a backup. You know, he should be playing when starters are hurt. Best case scenario. And yeah, they go to overtime. You know, you were going to beat them in overtime. Patriots were a way better team. Man, yeah, that one was tough, buddy. That was tough. Oh my God. So yeah, I don't feel bad as a Colts fan. If I was a Patriots fan, I'd feel like crap after that game. Man, that was tough. But yeah, Matt Ryan's done. I mean, he can hold the clipboard and help out our rookie QB next year. But I don't know who I want. We're not getting Bryce Young. He's going to the Texans. That's a done deal. Just go ahead and get your Bryce Young Texans jersey if you want. But I don't know. Maybe the Levis kid out of Kentucky. I don't know. The Florida kid. I'm not sure. I knew I said I was going to wrap things up. I'm hitting that 2-hour mark, and I'm losing people as I talk about more sports. But also, it's been 2 hours, and I said I was almost done. Oh God, no. We're done retreading QBs. We have a top 10 pick minimum. Minimum. And I don't know if our GM is around for next year. I think he is because he can scout talent. The guy has made excellent draft picks over the years. The problem is that, yeah, the Andrew Luck retirement set the whole franchise back, and they've been trying these retreads ever since. Rivers was the best one by far, and his arm was toast. But the thing about Rivers is he has one of the best football IQs I've ever seen. To see the way Peyton Manning would run an offense, and then to see Philip Rivers man an offense, it was honestly like looking at the same guy. Philip Rivers, I was not a Philip Rivers fan. Like, I liked the move when they made it, but I wasn't like, ooh, I really like that Philip Rivers guy. Then he put on a Colts jersey, and I'm like, this guy is awesome. He is a competitor. He will do anything to win. He has an insanely high football IQ. He makes reads at the line of scrimmage. He puts people in the right spot. I saw an aging Matt Ryan, previous MVP, former Super Bowl caliber player, and I thought, wow, this guy is going to bring the best out of that Colts offense. But he doesn't make adjustments at the line of scrimmage at all. And he's a 38-year-old veteran quarterback who's won an MVP, and he makes no adjustments at the line of scrimmage. That's crazy to me. If you don't have arm strength and you have no mobility, it's got to be up here. That's it. That's the only way that's the only way Brady's succeeding right now. He's lost arm strength. And I'm not saying that because I don't respect Tom Brady. I respect Tom Brady. I respect that he's lost some arm strength, but he's still so smart that he puts people in the right position. He always finds the open guy. Plus, coupled with the fact that, our offensive line has played terrible this year. Yes, it is bad. And we need more weapons. Our wide receiver depth is not good. Now, I do really like the rookie, Alec Pierce. That kid's a weapon. Man, I see him get open. I see him with the ball in his hands, and I want the ball in his hands more. That kid's going to be a stud. I like Alec Pierce. And I like Michael Pittman a lot. People say he's a borderline one, but the truth is you throw up a 50-50 ball, he's going to catch most of them. And the guy hardly ever drops passes. Of course, I say that he dropped a ball in the Vikings game. That's how crazy that game was. Pittman has one of the highest catch rates in the NFL, and he dropped a gimme in that game. But I love Michael Pittman. He is a solid, consistent player that can get 50-50 balls. Pierce is kind of in that mold, but he's way faster. Oh, my gosh, he flies past people. Ryan just doesn't have the arm strength to throw deep balls anymore. So, man, we got to get some people to block, but if we can get a quarterback with a little bit of mobility, that offensive line is not going to matter as much, We just need somebody that can improvise and extend plays, and that offensive line issue will not be as bad of an issue as it is now. No, that's absolutely true. And they extended him in the preseason. I didn't really like that move because he doesn't block. I feel like because of how bad the offensive line was this year, they could have used Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle was one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and he could catch. But, he wasn't as good at getting open because he was getting older. He retired. They missed his blocking as a tight end. They have nobody on that team that blocks nearly as well as Jack Doyle did on his worst day. And that's, why re-signing Mo Alie-Cox before the season started, I was like, why? Plus, they drafted 2 tight ends in the draft. Okay. And I'm all about Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods is way more of a player than Mo Alie-Cox would ever be. So you already had 1 tight end on the 2 tight ends on the roster. You re-sign one. You already had one on contract. That's Kylan Granson. Then you draft two. I didn't understand that. And the crazy thing is, Jelani Woods has looked pretty good at points during the season, but it's actually the kid that got hurt in the preseason that everybody was raving about. Ogletree, I'm forgetting his name. The Colts drafted 2 tight ends this year, and it was the one not named Jelani Woods that got hurt in the preseason that, man, the Colts brass love this kid. So it's like, why'd you re-sign Mo Alley Cox? I didn't like that contract from the start. But we need more weapons. But yeah, it's quarterback and then figure out the rest. I firmly believe that the Bengals had it figured out. Get a quarterback. If he's a stud, you put weapons around him, then figure out the rest later. That's what they did. And here they are. They're 11-4 again. And that's because they went all in on offensive line. They signed an excellent left tackle. They drafted, I think, 3 offensive linemen in the draft because they already had a quarterback and 2 legit number 1 receivers. They have weapons and a top 5 quarterback. If you have that, just figure out the rest later. That's all you need. That's the only reason the Colts were good with Andrew Luck. The rest of the roster sucked. The offensive line was terrible. Honestly, after T.Y. Hilton, they didn't have that many weapons. Jack Doyle. But they didn't have that many weapons. The defense wasn't that great. It's just that Andrew Luck was so good, he disguised all of the weaknesses that team had. Just like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins did last year. He had no offensive line, but that trio was so dang good. Plus Joe Mixon, top 5 running back. Ridiculous weapons. I haven't even mentioned Tyler Boyd, who's been an insanely consistent receiver. He'd be a 2 on most teams, and these are 3. It's not even fair. Embarrassment of riches on that team. Gosh. It was talked about this offseason. It was. Jimmy G has proven that he's a winning quarterback. I don't want to retread at quarterback. I don't. No Colts fan, not one, wants to try a retread. Phillip Rivers. Retire. Carson Wentz. Matt Ryan. No, we don't want another one. We're not going for a 4th retread. We're taking either Kentucky or the Florida quarterback. That's my prediction. One of those 2. Because Stroud's gone. And Bryce Young's gone. And I personally don't want Stroud. I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. I was extremely high on Justin Fields. I don't think Stroud is as good as Fields. Fields is ridiculous. His talents are unmatched. The problem is the Bears suck at building around their quarterbacks. They're terrible at it. No, they finally have a new regime. They have a new coach, former Colts defensive coordinator, and they realized, okay, Fields can play. Justin Fields can play. Oh, my gosh. And he clowned what defense was that? They were playing the Eagles. He clowned that defense on that one run. Oh, my gosh. Justin Fields is a lot of fun to watch, but I'm not convinced on Stroud. I'm not. I think he's going to be the 4th quarterback on the board. But a lot can change between now and the combine. A lot will change between now and the combine. 2 things I don't think will change, though. 1, Bryce Young's going 1 overall to the Texans. That's a done deal. Number 2, Will Anderson from Alabama is going number 2 overall. I don't know what team's taking him. Actually, I might. It's probably going to be the Lions. The Lions have the Rams pick. Stafford's done for the year. Stafford's done for the year. The Rams may win one other game. I mean, they got Baker Mayfield. He shouldn't even be playing, but that's all they have. Everybody else is hurt. So anyway, I think the Lions might just put Will Anderson on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. That would be ridiculous. Oh, my gosh. All of a sudden, Detroit's got 2 stacked edge rushers. My goodness. That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, oh, I tapped the same comment. But yeah, I yeah, I don't have anything against Jimmy Garoppolo. I just no more retreads for the Colts. It's not going to happen. And yeah, I mean the Lions have now won 7 in a row with Jared Goff at quarterback. The Rams cast him away to win a Super Bowl with Stafford. And man, nobody thought this Goff thing in Detroit would work. Do they draft a quarterback? They probably do. I might be. I don't know. I think just Will Anderson is so good. He deserves to be the number 2 pick, although that may not be the best fit for the Lions. I don't. I think Goff has 2 more years on his deal, and nobody's convinced he's their franchise. He's playing well. He's played really well, but nobody's convinced they're keeping him long term. Not past that contract that the Rams signed him to. They're done with Jared Goff after that. So, there you go. This has been Football Chat. I did warn you if there's a topic that I am actually more knowledgeable on than board games, it is definitely the NFL. Yeah, very well versed in that stuff. You're 100% right, buddy. They could definitely trade that pick. Man, that would be smart. Extremely smart, actually. Move from 2nd to 7th. You'll get teams that'll give you 2 first-round picks just to do that. It's crazy, but yeah, they could. Man, the Lions could be dangerous. I mean, does anybody really believe in the Vikings? They almost lost to the Colts. It would have been terrible. Took them a miracle to win that game. Lions beat them. I mean, Packers, they're not going to be done rebuilding by next year. No, I don't believe in the Vikings. The NFC North is wide open. So if the Lions can have another good draft and maybe bring in just one key free agent, watch out for the Lions. That's a team that could make some noise next year for sure. So yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I so appreciate all the comments and everything, and everybody that's even stuck on this long. I've been talking football for 15 minutes now, but again, it's definitely the topic I am most versed on. In my lifetime, it was sports first. That's what got me through my childhood and kept me out of trouble. I played baseball and tennis all 4 years in high school. I played far more sports before then. But yeah, I was very athletic as a kid, still very good at dexterity games. A savage at crokinole. I'm just going to throw it out there. So yeah, I learned very early in age that I was very athletic, have very good muscle memory. And so I'm very good at dexterity games. I'm not, there's not, and I'm not like tooting my own horn. It sounds like it. Rarely will you ever tell me, oh, I'm really good at that board game. Crokinole, yeah, you got to watch out for me in Crokinole. Any dexterity game, flicking game, I'm a problem. So yeah, that's because I was an athlete as a kid. So, but man, it's been a blast. It's after 10 o'clock. I do have to. I'd love to keep going, guys. These are so fun, but I really have to rest my throat. I haven't chewed on a cough drop in probably 25 minutes. And I do need to get rehydrated and rest up. But stay tuned. There's number one, Dan talked about a Blood on the Clock Tower stream Friday. Man, I would love to do that. I think everybody that knows us know we'd love to do that. And any of you that want to join and are interested, just ask. I don't know if we'll get the participation to pull that off because it does take 7 players. This is also assuming that the weather turns south. But as you know, me and Rob have been sitting here talking about, we're both in areas just off Lake Michigan that are showing to be forecasted to be getting 12 to 18 inches and up to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Those are officially blizzard conditions. I'm probably going to be sent home early Friday. Our boss is so understanding. She may not even have us come in Friday because it's our short day anyway. And there's just no point in, she understands there's no point having people, busting their ass to get work and to get to work in these conditions. People get hurt. So that's why we're talking about streaming. It may be me and Tim, maybe Bob, maybe Dan. I don't know. We talked about it because, we'd like to at least play games or talk about games. And these blizzard conditions are probably going to keep us home. So stay tuned. There is a chance, there is a chance of a stream on Friday, but 100%, weather dependent. Also depends on how Tim is feeling. I do hope that he rests up and doesn't end up with the flu like I did. It was terrible. So again, guys, thank you so much for staying with me for this long. I still am amazed that I'm able to just hop on here for 2 hours and talk about anything, total streams of consciousness, and I can still get people to join along with me and chat along, including you, Spambot. I'll delete those comments later. But hey, these were my top games that start with the letter whiskey. This is the Game Cave, and I used to be Mike. I appreciate all of you joining me tonight. You may see me again Friday. In the meantime, go check out our top 10 because it is now available. Until next time, thanks, guys.